Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In this video I'm gonna show you how you can create your own custom video player. So I've made here a prototype app of how it actually is gonna look like. So you will have your own controls and the video player in the middle. So if you press play, the video starts running. And you can rotate it, it adapts fully to the screen. And you can even skip the video forward and backwards and everything that you need to know with the AVPlayer controls. So let's jump ahead and see how we're actually gonna do that and have this player here to see what we're gonna be doing. For this video I'm gonna use Xcode 9. It's on beta, so a lot of you might not have it yet, but I'm gonna use it for future videos. And if you don't have it, that's fine, you can still use Xcode 8, but while we use Xcode 9 we might get some warnings or bugs or crashes because it's still in beta, so don't mind those. So let's open Xcode, and I have it open right here. So this is Xcode 9, and we're gonna start as always with a single view application, and let's call this video app, and language is set to Swift. So we press continue and create this. Perfect. Now the first thing we want to do is to design our storyboard. And what do we want to do is we want to have like a view with aspect ratio 16:9 centered on our view. So let's go this to the main storyboard, and in here we're gonna have this view controller which we're gonna use. And for that view, I'm gonna change the background color to dark gray color. I'm gonna close this one. So this is gonna look like this. And I'm gonna drag a UI view that is gonna contain my actual video. Now, when we're gonna create the video, this will be actually a layer which will go on top of this view right here. This view will have a black color so we can distinguish it, and we want to center this horizontally and vertically in the container. Now we need to give it a size, and the size we're going to give it, if you add a new constraint, the size we want to give it is an aspect ratio of 16:9. So just select the aspect ratio, add one constraint, and now go to the size inspector, and in here our aspect ratio, as you can see, is very big, so we're gonna change this to 16:9 and press enter. And now that we added the aspect ratio 16:9, what we want to do is we want to give margins left and right to the container without constraining to margins. So we want it to expand like this. When we rotate the device to landscape, it will go full screen. So doing like this and press OK, and everything goes blue, and that is our view right here. Perfect. Now we want to connect this to our view controller. So we're gonna open the assistant editor, and I'm gonna delete this code here because I don't need, and I'm gonna right click and drag this, and I will call this a video view, and I'm gonna connect it. Perfect. For now I don't need the storyboard, I'm gonna come back later on. So let's go to our view controller and start writing a bit of code here. So the few things that we're gonna need is we're gonna need the AVPlayer. So let's call this var player equals, actually this is a type of AVPlayer, and the reason that it doesn't appear is because we need to import AV foundation. Alright, so this is gonna be an AVPlayer, and we're also gonna have a player layer, which is an AVPlayer layer. This is what will originally have our content showing to our view. And this is explicitly unwrapped. Perfect. Now in our viewDitLoad, we want to go and set up the video. I'm gonna have a video played from a URL. You can either have a video inside your app, or you can download it somewhere from a URL. So you can just pass a URL and load it like this. And the URL I have on my other screen is a string right here. Okay, I copied it. So let's say let URL equals a URL of string, and this is my string right here. You can find any link that leads to a video if you open it. And after that, you want to say our player equals an AVPlayer with a URL. And the URL we're gonna pass is the URL that we created above. All right. And after that, we want to create our player layer. So you say player layer dot equals AVPlayer layer with a player, and that is the player that we created above. And after that, you want to say the player layer dot video gravity to be equal to resize. So like when you rotate it, it goes completely layout to your landscape mode, and when you rotate back to portrait, it goes as it was before. And like this, you say video view is the view that we created in our storyboard dot layer dot add sublayer, and that sublayer is our player layer. Perfect. Now we're almost done. One thing that we want to do is in our view did layout subviews, we have to write super.view did layout subviews, and after we lay out the subviews, we want to set the player layer frame to be equal to our view bounds, video view bounds. That is for when we're rotating the device. So we say player layer dot frame equals to the video view dot bounds. So wherever our video view is in the screen, there is gonna be also our player layer. And eventually, when the view appears, view did appear, you want to do super.view did appear animated, and we want to play the video. So when the view appears, we want the video instantly to get played for now. So you say player dot play, just like this. So let's run this and see how this looks like. All right, here is my application running. I'm gonna increase it for you. I'm also gonna increase the font size for you to see. And the video is running. As you can see, here is the prototype, and this is the one that we are just creating. So I'm gonna rotate the device and it goes full screen. I'm rotating back, it goes how it was before. Perfect. Now we need some controls. We need to play and pause the video, also fast forward 5 seconds or backwards 5 seconds. So let's go and do that. This is gonna be this right here. And this is simple. You just create some views and then you add actions to those buttons to play around with the player. So I'm gonna stop the simulators and let's go. In here, we are gonna drag again a UI view at the bottom, and I'm gonna pin it to the bottom and to the left to the right, so it's gonna expand to our view. And I'm also gonna give it a height of how much? I will say 60 pixels. And I'm gonna add 4 constraints, perfect. And now I'm gonna add 3 buttons there. UI button. So I'm gonna add a play button, fast forward button, and also backwards button. So this button is gonna say play initially. This is gonna be fast forward. I'm gonna add like this. You can even add images if you want to your buttons. You can lay out it however you want. Alright, so now let's go and add those constraints. This is gonna be centered horizontally and vertically. Perfect. This one is gonna have I'll say 16 pixels to the left. Alright, and this one is gonna have 60 pixels to the right, like this. And I'm gonna drag this and center it vertically so they're aligned correctly. And this here is my play and fast forward and back forward, whatever. the video. And now let's open our assistant editor and scroll to the bottom, make some space here, and let's go and add play action, play pressed. And something that I want to do is the type is going to be a UI button, because I want to change the button text whenever the button is pressed. So I'm just going to make a type of UI button as a sender. I'm going to connect this one. Perfect. Now let's connect our forward button. So this is action, forward pressed. I don't care about the type of this one, so I'm gonna leave it as it is. And the other one, it's again action, backwards pressed, and connect. Perfect. Now let's close our system editor and go back to our view controller. Now, when the play button is pressed, we want to play the video, and when the video is playing, we want to pause the video. So we will need a variable to keep in track of if the video is playing or it's actually paused. So let's go and create this variable. We call this var is video playing, and this initially is false. And in our play button, if is video playing, not video player, this is video playing, sorry. So if is video playing, you want to AVPlayer dot pause. Actually it's player dot pause, and also you want to change the button text to play. So sender dot set title play for state normal. So if the video is playing and the button is pressed, we want to pause the video and change the text to play. And also, if the video is not playing, we want the player to start playing. So we say dot play. And also we want our button set title to be play pause for normal state. Perfect. And now we want the forward pressed. So what will forward do? We want first to see if there is a video duration. So we're gonna have a guard statement saying duration, let duration equals of the player dot current item dot duration, else return. So if there is no duration, which means there's no current item, we don't want to do anything, so we are jumping out. But if there is a duration, then we want to skip 5 seconds, depending if we're able to skip 5 seconds, because if we're 2 seconds before the video is finished, we don't want to over exceed that time. So we're not gonna do anything if the video is gonna finish in 5 seconds. So what we say, let current time equals of a cm time get seconds of cm time, which we're gonna get from the player dot current time. Perfect. And here we say let the new time is gonna be of the current time plus 5 seconds, and this has to be a float or a double, so we put 5.0. You can add any seconds you want, not necessarily 5. And you want to make sure that if the new time that we created is less than the cm time get seconds of the duration minus 5.0. So if we are able to do this, then we are creating a let time that we're gonna jump into, and this is a cm time make with a value with a time scale. The value is the new time times 1000 with a time scale of 1000, and we say player dot seek to cm time, and this is our time. Now this gives an error. I need to specify that this is a cm time and also that this is int 64, like this, as it requires int 64. All right, this builds for us. And for backwards, we want to do something similar. For backwards, we don't really care about the duration. So I'm just gonna copy over these lines of code. And I'm gonna add them here, but this time the new time is gonna be -5 seconds. And if our new time is less than 0, that means that it's a negative number. We don't want a negative time number, so it's a new time equals 0. And then we create let time again the same way. Actually, I'm just gonna copy these lines of code here. So we do like this. Let's go and see how this actually works. So I'm gonna run up. Oh, this is the error right here. I added the character, and this has to be a var. Okay. Yeah, those mistakes happen, so it's fine if you do them as well. So here we have our player running. Let me increase the size. All right. Actually, what we want to do is we want to delete the code in view did appear. Perfect. So initially our video will be paused, and until we press the play button, the video is not gonna play. So now I'm pressing play button and change to pause, and the video starts playing. Now let's jump forward, and forward, you can see that the time the video changes. And let's go backwards. You see that it goes backwards, and we can pause it. Oops, why? Oh, yeah. Something that we didn't do is we didn't change the variable is video playing after the button is pressed. And in here you say is video playing equals the opposite of whatever is video playing. So like this, we change the state of the video. I forgot about that, I'm really sorry. So now we press play, the video starts playing. I press pause, the text changes, the video pauses. Perfect. Last step we want to do is we want to add a slider that you can slide to different seconds, and you also want to know in which second you are and how many seconds of the video is there. So let's go ahead and create this in the storyboard. In the storyboard scene here, again, we're gonna drag a UI view right there on the top, and I'm gonna give it a 66 pixel, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna pin it to the top and to the left and to the right, so fully expand it and give it 64 pixels height. Perfect. Add 4 constraints, and I'm also gonna add a slider in here at the bottom, and 2 labels, UI label, with one saying the current time and the other one saying the duration of the video. And initially I'm gonna give them 0, 0, 0, 0, and this one 0, 0, 0, 0. We're gonna fix the constraints in a second. So this one we want to be 8 pixels from the bottom, and left and right is gonna have, I will say, 16 pixels from the left and 16 pixels from the right labels. And we're gonna add 3 constraints. Perfect. And now we need to add constraints for those ones. This is gonna be 0 pixels from the left. Actually, I want to have 8 pixels from the left. give width of 55, and that will be all for now. And the same thing for this one, 55 width, 8 pixels from the left. And now I want to center those vertically with the slider. Center vertically. Perfect. So that's how it looks like. The initial value of this one is gonna be 0. The maximum value for now is gonna be 1. And now let's go and connect those. So I'm just gonna drag, right click and drag this one called duration label. Call this right here current time label. And lastly, the slider, call it time slider outlet. Perfect. And also we need an action for the time slider for when the value changes, so we can swipe it and we say outlet. No, we want to change to action, slider value changed, and we want to connect that. Actually, we want to say that this is a UI slider. I'm gonna go back a bit. I'm gonna disconnect it for a second. This has to be sender action, and the sender has to be a UI slider. And here you say slider value changed. Connect. Perfect. Now let's close our system editor and go back to our view controller. Now what do we want to do? We want to add first some observers for when the duration of the player is set and when the current time of the player changes, so we can keep updating our views and our slider. So in here in our view.load, we're gonna add our first observer, and this is gonna be for the duration. So you're gonna say player dot current item dot add observer, and the observer we want to add is for self for key path duration with options. It's gonna be an array of dot new comma dot initial. Perfect. And also we are not gonna pass any context. Now let's go and add a function called observe value for key path, and this, because we added this observer, that function will be get called for that key path. So I'm gonna write it at the very bottom, and this is called observe value for key path is this one, and you want to check if key path double equals to duration, as that's the key path we are observing, and also if we have a duration which is an actually it's player dot current item dot duration dot seconds, and those seconds are larger than 0, then we want to go and update our label. But to update our label with CM time or time intervals, we need to have helper functions that will translate them to strings. So let's go and write this helper function. I'm gonna call this function get time string from time CM time. So I will be passing a CM time inside there, and this will be returning me a string with hours, minutes, and seconds of the video. And you're gonna say let total seconds equals cm time get seconds with time, and then you say let hours equal an integer of total seconds divided by 3600, and that will give us the number for 1 hour. For hours, let minutes equal an integer for total seconds divided by 60, which is 1 hour, and we want the remainder of it, which is 60 mod 60. And let seconds equals an integer of total seconds, and here you will say translating remainder, which is divisible by dividing by 60. Right, now we have our minutes, hours, and seconds, and we want to say if hours is bigger than 0, we want to include in our label the hours as well. So we're gonna return string with format and arguments, this one. So format and arguments, and we want to include the format is gonna be a %i column %02i column %02i, and the arguments we're gonna be passing is, so the first I is our hours, the second 02i is our minutes, and the last I is our seconds. Perfect, and I'm gonna copy this over, else we want to include everything except the hours, so I'm just gonna delete the first I and delete the hours from the array. Perfect. So now that we wrote our helper function, we simply can say self.durationLabel.text equals get time string from duration, but duration is a double, so we will have to say, let's say player.currentItem.duration, which is the cm time. All right, and I'll note that this exists. Perfect, now we did this for the duration. We need to update also the current time when the video is playing, and also the slider to automatically update itself. Now, before we do this, let's run this and see that our duration label gets updated to make sure that everything is okay. We might have skipped something. So this is our player, and you see that our video is 12 minutes and 14 seconds. Perfect, everything works fine, so we can get back on developing. Now, to add an observer for the current time when it changes, Apple suggests to do the following. First, we're gonna have to create a helper function to add the time observer, and this is gonna be an interval of how long you want to observe. So you want to observe the current time every half a second for any changes, like let's say you pause the video, you want to not to prevent updating the time if you press pause. So cm time, you say seconds with preferred time scale, and you want 0.5 seconds. So you want 0.5 seconds with time scale of cm time scale, which is a nanosec per sec. That is what Apple suggests to use. And we want a main queue, so this is dispatch queue.main. And then we will say underscore equals. The reason we're gonna say underscore equals is because the function we're gonna call actually returns something like a token, but we're never gonna use it. So by saying underscore equals, it doesn't save it anywhere, but it does fire whatever you put in the completion handler. So this is a player, not layer, dot add periodic time observer for interval, the interval that we created. Q is the main queue that we created above. Using, you press enter, and this will give you a CM time, which we call time, but also we want to hold a weak reference to self. So say weak self time, like this. Perfect. Now we want to say, actually this doesn't like it, so if I remove it from, alright, perfect. Now we want to say guard let current item, so we want to make sure that the current item exists, equals self dot player dot current item, else we want to return and do nothing. Alright, and now self dot time slider and time slider dot maximum value equals 0. We want to have a weak reference to ourselves for any memory leakage, so just so you know that. And the maximum value is not actually, the maximum value is gonna be a float of the current item that we created dot duration dot seconds, and self dot time slider dot minimum value is gonna be 0, and self dot time slider dot value, the current value is a float of the current item dot current time in seconds. Perfect. And also we want to update the label of the current time, so we say current time label dot text equals self dot get time string with current current item dot current time. Oops. And like this, the current time changes and the slider also increases automatically. And now we want to have a slider value change. So when you tap on the slider and you slide it, you want to change to that time. So let's go and write this. So all you need to do is say player dot seek to CM time, which CM time is CM time make of value int 64, which is int 64, sorry, of the sender dot value times 1000 with timescale 1000. So wherever we change the value to the slider, we want to skip the player to that time. So let's go and run this and see how this actually looks like. Alright, we have our duration, which is 12 seconds and 14, and I press play. And let's see. Okay, we wrote this helper function, but I actually never called it. So add time observer needs to be in here after we add the first observer. So let's go again and try. And we're gonna play. And here we go, the timer starts changing, and you will see, as you can see, the slider also changes the value, so it moves forward. Now if I am to change the slider forward to 6 minutes, you will see that the video skips to 6 minutes and keeps playing after that from there. And if I swipe back, it starts from the beginning. Fast forward works. Alright, backwards works as well. And if we rotate, the video will still be playing, as you can see. And basically that is it. So you can see in less than more or less like 100 lines of code, you create your own custom video player. You can redesign it, use it however you want. You will have a fully custom one on your app without having any frameworks and any restrictions on how to use your AVPlayer. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, learned something new, and if you like the video, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.